approximately 7 armed robberies that began May of this year, many of which were perpetrated by a white male, possibly mixed race, white and native or Hispanic in his 20s, approximately 5'10", 150 pounds. Recently, there was another robbery that took place on July 17th at Prano Express on Highway 75. We don't believe this robbery to be related to the other robberies, and it was perpetrated by 2 males. One was a white male, approximately 5'10" to 5'11", 180 to 200 pounds. The second one was possibly mixed race in his 20s, 5'10" to 6 foot, 200 to 220 pounds, armed with a sawed-off shotgun. And the other ones, the suspect was armed with a black handgun. We're asking the public's help with any tips, no matter how minute they are, to call us at 258-TIPS with any leads or any information. We will be releasing video hopefully later this day in regards to some of the investigations that we're currently conducting.
Okay. Have you guys gotten any tips so far?
We have had tips up to this point, nothing that I can be releasing right now.
Okay. And can you explain the difference between a robbery and a theft?
So a robbery would be when somebody takes possession of property not belonging to them, either with a handgun or they can do it by assault. Whereas theft would be more removing property from a store without paying for it.
Okay. And could you say that there has been an increase in robberies this year over last year?
I really don't know what the numbers are compared to last year. I haven't really checked that.
For context, is the summer kind of a time when more of this activity happens?
We typically do see more robberies in the summertime just because the weather is nicer, people are out and about more often. It opens up the opportunity for people without vehicles to get out and about more.
Okay. So how many people right now do you think you're looking for throughout all the robberies?
Approximately 4 people.
You said you're investigating 7. Could you maybe give us a rundown of the locations?
So the locations are AutoZone on Hamilton Boulevard, Central Mart on Morningside Avenue, Come and Go on Gordon Drive, Advanced Auto on Gordon Drive, and Prano Express on Highway 75.
Why do you think these particular places were targeted?
I really don't know that at this point. We're too early into the investigation to know why those particular places were picked by the suspects.
Could it possibly be because like Gordon Drive is an easy access to the highway to get away, or different streets they can go down? Or I was in the Come and Go today and noticed that the cash register was right there by the door.
There's a lot of things that can be taken into consideration as to why they choose a location without knowing all the details or all the information up to this point. It's really hard to say what made them choose the particular locations that they did.
And then the 4 people that you are looking for, I know some of them had on ski masks. Did all of them have on ski masks or no?
No, not all of them had ski masks. The main suspect in the ones that I listed that was responsible for approximately 6 of them, he was wearing a ski mask and gloves every time.
What is standing between these suspects and arrests?
So at this point, with something like this, we do a very thorough investigation. We get a lot of leads and a lot of tips, so it's basically just narrowing down that information and getting the video and getting the public's help and communicating with the public, working as a team to make sure that we get the right people in custody for this.
And what can businesses do, I guess, to protect themselves in the future?
Camera footage is always a good thing. Businesses should always have a good camera system in place, have a system in place with their employees as far as what to do when something like this happens. Go through a protocol with them, kind of give them, and the police department offers where they would come out and speak with the businesses and talk to them about indicators that they can look for leading up to an event like this, and then also what to do if something like this does happen.
And if an armed robber does come in, they should definitely give them the money and not try to fight or anything like that.
Yeah, my recommendation would be to comply with what they're asking to do. There's no reason, a person's life isn't worth what a cash register would hold. Comply with the person and don't do anything to jeopardize your safety.
Have you seen a recent increase in drug activity at all that could possibly be the reason behind some of the robberies?
I don't know anything about the drug activity as far as it relates to these. We're too early in the investigation to know if there's any coincidental things going on there.
And then at most of the come and go stations, They have a safe, so there's only so much money that's kept in the register, correct?
Typically, yes.
So at the most, they're probably not getting away with a whole lot of money.
I'm not going to disclose the dollar amounts today, but I can tell you that it's not worth, what they're doing is not worth it. An armed robbery holds 25 years in prison. Definitely not worth what that register would hold.
And then for theft, what's the highest they can get for a theft?
For the theft,
Yeah.
would depend on the dollar amount that they took, but it goes all the way up to a seat felony.
Which is,
I believe that would hold 25 years, over 25.
do you think the suspect is actually dangerous?
I would consider him dangerous, armed and dangerous. That's why we're asking the public's help. If they do know who this person is or has any information, don't approach him. To please contact us right away with any information that you have.
And what's the reward for a tip?
We haven't discussed that yet, but if information would lead to the capture and arrest and conviction of the person, we would talk to our Crime Stoppers unit and develop something to make sure that that person is fairly compensated.
Are there any vehicles that are connected with these?
I have no vehicle descriptions. At this point, we don't have anything as far as that to release. Once I get more information, I'll certainly be in contact with you guys as far as releasing what I know.
And from where you mentioned come and go, I know it's been about twice in the last week. Does that also include the report on July 4th as well?
There was, yes, one of the incidents I'm referring to was on July 4th. There was another incident that was reported as a robbery at that particular come and go, but was not a robbery. It was actually just a theft.
Okay. And was that the July 4th one, or was that
The July 4th one is not a robbery.
Is a robbery?
And the theft is not included in the 7 that you mentioned?
No. It's an unrelated incident.
Was it that Sunday's incident then?
I don't recall what day the theft was, but it's not related.
Okay. So you are looking for approximately 4 people, but you do believe that one person is responsible for at least 4 of the robberies?
Yeah, one person is, from everything that we can see up to this point, again, we don't have all the information, but it would seem, looking at what we have, is that the same person is responsible for AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and both the come and go robberies and both of the pumping pack robberies.
Is there a pattern of the time that they have been coming in?
There is a pattern, but it varies depending on the business, based on the business hours, things of that nature. Obviously, most come and goes are 24 hours, but we do work together as a team to establish things like that.
And will you be able to release the ballpark of amounts dollar-wise that was taken?
It's too early in an investigation to release any vital information. Once I know more, I can release that.
So you will eventually.
And your first and last name?
Nick Thompson.
And your title with the police department?